For years, rumors swirled through the aviation industry, whispers in boardrooms, encrypted emails between engineers. A project so secretive, even Bombardier's own employees weren't allowed to talk about it. They called it Project Maverick. Others knew it as the Ghost Plane. But on a cold morning in Montreal, everything changed. The secret was finally revealed, and what happened next would shake the entire private aviation world to its core. This is the story of Bombardier's most ambitious aircraft ever built, a plane that was never supposed to exist, a flying machine that pushed the boundaries of physics, luxury, and human engineering. This is the story of how Bombardier's secret plane finally took to the skies. Before we dive into the mystery, you need to understand who Bombardier really is. This isn't just another aircraft manufacturer. This is a Canadian powerhouse that's been dominating the private jet market for decades. From the legendary Learjet to the ultra-luxurious Global series, Bombardier has built a reputation for one thing: pushing boundaries. Their Global 7500? It held the record for the longest-range business jet in the world, 7,700 nautical miles. That's New York to Hong Kong non-stop in a private jet. But by 2019, the company faced a problem. Gulfstream was catching up, Dassault was innovating, and a new player, a mysterious startup backed by Silicon Valley money, was promising to revolutionize private aviation with electric propulsion. Bombardier needed something game-changing, something nobody saw coming. So they went underground, deep underground. It started in 2020, right as the world shut down during the pandemic. While most aviation companies were hemorrhaging money and laying off workers, Bombardier assembled a ghost team. 50 of their best engineers, top aerodynamicists, material scientists, even former military aircraft designers. Their mission? Create an aircraft that would make everything else obsolete. The specifications were insane. They wanted a business jet that could fly 8,000 nautical miles, further than any private jet in history. They wanted it to cruise at Mach 0.94, just shy of the speed of sound. They wanted a cabin so large you could fit a bedroom, a full office, and a shower that actually felt like a real shower. Oh, and one more thing. They wanted it to be 30% more fuel efficient than anything currently flying. In aviation terms, that's like asking someone to invent a car that runs on water. Industry experts said it was impossible. The laws of physics wouldn't allow it. You can't have long range and high speed and fuel efficiency and a massive cabin. Something has to give. But Bombardier's team had a secret weapon, a revolutionary new wing design that had never been tested on a civilian aircraft. They called it the adaptive morphing wing, and it would change everything. Here's where it gets wild. Traditional aircraft wings are fixed. They're designed for one optimal speed and altitude. But what if a wing could change? What if it could adapt in real time to different flight conditions? That's exactly what Bombardier's engineers created. Using advanced composite materials and a network of tiny actuators, think of them as artificial muscles, the wing could subtly change its shape during flight. During takeoff, it optimizes for lift. At cruising altitude, it morphs for maximum efficiency. During landing, it adapts again for control and safety. The technology came from an unlikely source: biomimicry. The team studied how birds adjust their wing feathers in flight, how sharks modify their fins while hunting. They took millions of years of evolution and compressed it into carbon fiber and titanium. But the wing was just the beginning. The fuselage? Built with a new aluminum-lithium alloy that's lighter than anything used in commercial aviation. The engines? Custom-designed Rolls-Royce Pearl variants that produce 15% more thrust while burning less fuel. And the cabin? Oh, the cabin. We'll get to that in a minute. For 3 years, this project remained completely secret. No press releases, no trade show mock-ups, nothing. Bombardier even filed their patents under shell companies to hide what they were building. Aviation journalists suspected something was happening. Flight tracking enthusiasts noticed weird patterns near Bombardier's Montreal facility, but nobody knew what was really going on behind those hangar doors. Then came March 15, 2025. Bombardier sent out a cryptic invitation to select journalists, industry executives, and potential customers. The message simply said, "Witness the future. Montreal, 6 a.m." When those hangar doors opened, jaws literally dropped. Standing before them was the Bombardier Global 8500. But this wasn't just an incremental upgrade. This was a completely reimagined aircraft. The numbers were staggering. 8,200 nautical miles of range, Mach 0.94 cruise speed, a cabin that measured 54 feet long. That's longer than most New York City apartments. But it was the design that really turned heads. The aircraft looked like it came from the future. Sleek, almost organic curves, no harsh angles. The adaptive wing was visible even from the outside. You could see the subtle panel lines where the morphing sections were integrated. And the cabin? Picture this. A master bedroom with a queen bed, a full stand-up shower with rainfall showerhead, a conference room with a table for 8, an entertainment lounge with an 85-inch display, and a galley that would make a Michelin star chef jealous. The estimated price tag? A cool $78 million. That's more expensive than most people's entire neighborhood. But here's the thing. Bombardier already had 12 firm orders before the plane even flew. Billionaires were lining up, tech CEOs, heads of state, even a few celebrities whose names we can't mention due to NDAs. 3 weeks after the reveal, the moment everyone was waiting for arrived. The maiden flight. Test pilot Sarah Chen, a former Air Force pilot with over 6,000 hours in experimental aircraft, would be at the controls. Her co-pilot, Jacques Fontaine, had been with Bombardier for 23 years and had flown the first flight of the Global 7500. At 0630 hours, the engine spooled up. That distinctive whine of the Rolls-Royce Pearls echoed across the tarmac. Inside the cockpit, every system showed green. The adaptive wing system initialized. Thousands of sensors came online. Then, at 0642 hours, the brakes released. The Global 8500 accelerated down runway 24 left. At 137 knots, Chen pulled back on the yoke, and just like that, Bombardier's secret plane was airborne. For the next 4 hours and 18 minutes, Chen and Fontaine put the aircraft through its paces: high-altitude climbs, high-speed runs, emergency procedures, and, most importantly, testing that adaptive wing system at various speeds and altitudes. The results exceeded even Bombardier's optimistic projections. The wing morphing reduced fuel consumption by 32% compared to conventional designs. The cabin pressure system maintained sea level equivalent up to 45,000 feet. And the ride? Test engineers in the cabin reported it was the smoothest they'd ever experienced in any aircraft. When the Global 8500 touched down at 100 hours, the crowd erupted. Engineers who had worked in secret for 5 years were crying. Executives were already on their phones with customers. And Sarah Chen climbed out of the cockpit with a smile that said it all. We did it. The aviation world went into overdrive. Within 24 hours, Bombardier's stock jumped 18%. Within a week, they had 37 additional orders worth $2.9 billion. Gulfstream immediately announced they were evaluating advanced wing technologies. Dassault fast-tracked their next-generation Falcon program. Even Boeing's business jet division started making calls. But the real impact goes beyond just the competition. The adaptive wing technology that Bombardier developed, it has applications far beyond private jets. Airlines are already in talks about licensing the technology for commercial aircraft. Military contractors want to integrate it into next-generation fighters. And that fuel efficiency improvement? In an era where sustainable aviation is critical, a 32% reduction in fuel consumption is massive. If this technology scales to commercial aviation, we could be looking at millions of tons of CO2 emissions prevented every year. Bombardier plans to begin customer deliveries in late 2026. The production line in Montreal is already being expanded. They're hiring 300 new workers, building new facilities, and they're already working on the next secret project. Because here's what this story really teaches us. Innovation doesn't always happen in press releases and trade shows. Sometimes the most revolutionary breakthroughs happen in secret, in hidden hangars, among small teams of obsessed engineers who refuse to accept that something is impossible. The Global 8500 isn't just a plane. It's proof that when you combine vision, engineering excellence, and a willingness to take massive risks, you can create something that changes an entire industry. Bombardier's secret plane finally flies, and now the secret is out. But something tells me they've already started working on the next mystery, the next impossible project, the next aircraft that will make us all look up at the sky and wonder, how did they do that? One thing's for certain, the future of private aviation will never be the same. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation history in the making, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories about the technology that's shaping our world. Drop a comment below. Would you fly on the Global 8500 if you had the chance? Or is $78 million just too much for any airplane? I'll see you in the next one. Keep looking up.